This video is brought to you by CompPaintball.com. Comp Paintball is fed up with not having great products at great prices, so they started their own company. New products are added all the time, and free shipping is offered on select orders. So click the link below and enter the discount code How to Play Paintball, all lowercase, no spaces, while checking out to get a great discount on your order. Alright everyone, welcome to the first impressions of the NXL Texas Open. So thank you guys for joining me today. Like I've said before, a lot of what I'm going to be going over is just my first impressions. It's just literally like at work, after work, sorry. I printed these out, did all of this, came home, and set everything up to go ahead and do this video. So there might be some stuff that I say that is actually wrong, and if that's the case, I apologize, and we will learn all together this first weekend of practice. Oh, there's stuff on here. But let's go ahead and jump into the layout itself. So looking at the layout, it is kind of more of a traditional layout. You have your Doritos, or actually all Doritos down the Dorito side, and then the snake is more of like a zipper. It's kind of straight down, which is nice. It's nice for them to kind of throw it up throw back to some older style fields. So regardless, let's just go ahead. I'm going to turn this way so it's a little bit easier for me to see, and talk about the back couple bunkers here. This can shoot like everything, which is nice and bad all at the same time. There might be some people doubling up in here. I think you might get a little bit, it might get a little bit hairy as they come out a little bit wider because they can shoot back at you. I guess I should reiterate, like I've said before, all of these shots that this person has, literally anyone can do that same shot back to them. So remember that. Don't go to a spot and think, oh, I can go here and I'm going to kill, 5 different guys this way. That's not always going to be the case. They have that same shot back on you. So we'll just get that one out of the way. But yeah, so this can... What I like is that you can lane so much stuff off the break. More so on the Dorito side than the snake side. So on the Dorito side, you have a lot of different options. So it might not be bad actually to have maybe 2 guys delay here and lane, and then this guy breaks out. That could be an option that would work. The other one is the actual snake side here. So shooting down, there aren't as many shots, I think, because of these wings and the bricks. It's going to be a little bit tough because you can kind of change your route, and that guy might not be able to see it. You can do a lot of blind shots. All of these wings are down, so they're kind of slanted down, so it's like that. Instead of it being stood up, where it looks like a house, it's kind of sideways. So it's on its side. Actually, I guess I can just show you in the picture here. Hope you guys can see that there. You see that it's on its side, and then the slant is on that one, and then slant goes this way on that one. So what's good with that is that you will be able to shoot over the top of it without it needing to... Yeah, you're not getting block shots, essentially. Let's go to the Dorito side. Well, I guess we can just talk about these bunkers here. So this, let me just double check here. Yeah, this tower is on the snake side. With it, I don't know. I think the snake side is going to be kind of tough to play. There's some interesting little things that I noticed. When I get into the snake, I'll talk about that more. But yeah, I mean, you got to be super aggressive on this side. I'm not sure. I think this guy is going to be good if you're shooting a couple over off the break. But these are such far shots that dropping that ball into there could be good. I mean, you could have a code or something where if someone's here and there's a guy that might be poking out a little bit this way, if you drop the ball in, I think you might be able to clip him that way. But these shots are going to be harder to make because by the time you start shooting it, the guy has so much time before the ball actually gets to him. But looking on the snake side here, what's good about this bunker is that you might be able to use it as just a way of kind of going up the center, going out to the snake side. You have a couple options here. So because these bunkers are larger, yes, people can shoot up over the top, but if you stay low and run up, you might be able to block out enough people that you can get up into the center. But on this side, if they haven't gotten into the snake yet, this could be good to at least shoot that way, and then I would actually get over into the can here to that way keep that guy from getting into the snake, or actually getting up into the center here, which we'll get into the center in a second. So I don't think that this is one of those bunkers that you're going to want to stay there. It's not one that you're just going to plant roots and dump 14 pods or whatever. This cake is pretty useless from what I saw. You might want to use it as kind of a delay, like if they, for some reason, from this can kept shooting you going into this Aztec, you could at least stop here and then kind of fight your way in, because you're going to be able to shoot your mirror, and there's a couple other shots, but again, like this shot, that's like a coast to coast basically. So shooting that guy out there, especially if he's going to be playing tight on the tape most likely, and again, we'll talk about that more, is going to be really tough for you. So I don't think this is going to be all that useful. Now again, we could get out to the field this weekend and see, oh man, I was completely wrong. This Aztec looks pretty good. I think this might be a good spot to try to get to off the break. You can do some control this way. Once they get past into the Dorito 2 here, that's when you really want to make sure that you really should just be getting out anyway. You don't ever want to just stay in a bunker. But in here, you are able to kind of fight this guy and move into the Dorito side, or if maybe your goal is just to kind of stop them, you can kind of do it from here. So maybe if you have this guy fill out afterwards, so long as no one is in the Dorito side, if you were here and there was only someone in the little Dorito or this other Aztec, you might be able to do some damage from there. But again, this is all just first impressions. Have I said that enough? I think I've said that enough. Okay, let's get into the corners and start moving up the field. So with the corners, what's good, and you can see, I try to do a good job here. So the blue lines here and the green line here, you can shoot down the tape and you can pretty much see everything down the tape on both sides. So that's a good thing, because it doesn't mean that you have to like take a step out to shoot down the tape to stop someone from moving down, which is good for the corner guy. It's bad for the front player, because now you have to worry about that corner guy, you know, shooting down the tape and stopping you from moving. But this would be pretty good to have someone in here. If they get into that Dorito 2, this could be a good spot if you were to kind of fill out, just because you can shoot down that tape, and you can kind of wrap. If they try to come up into the center maybe a little bit, you could wrap and maybe catch someone trying to come up through here. Or if you look on the inside, you can kind of, you know, throw a couple at least through the center, back in the back center, stuff like that. This little W here, I think this center is going to be played a lot. There's a lot of good stuff in here. And this is one that maybe if they throw some paint over and you have to stop here, it's not the end of the world, because you can really shut down this Dorito side. There's a lot of stuff in here that you're able to shoot through, and you can kind of shoot. This one's going to be a little bit more tough, but shooting that outside and hoping that, you know, as they come around, they would get clipped. So you can kind of stop that Dorito side from moving up. Now, the snake side is kind of useless. I wouldn't even look that way, just because, I mean, what can I really do here? Shooting a really far gap on my knees while this guy is able to pretty much stand up. Actually, he can stand up. It's not going to be as useful as being able to kind of post this way. Here's that can that I was talking about. I'll get into the corner in a second. Here's that can I was talking about. I think this is going to be a good spot to get to if for some reason they're shooting you getting into the snake, which I think you should be able to make the snake pretty easy, because there is some stuff in the way. But, you know, if you kind of have someone take a few steps out and shoot that gap, I mean, it's going to be kind of tiny, but this could be a good spot to get into, stand up, shoot a little bit, and then dive in if you needed to. Also, you can kind of play the wrap and shoot back in on that guy as well. It's not just that inside shot, but you want to be really careful because all of these guys can see your back. So you can throw paint over to them, over the top of that wing into them, but you want to be careful of that other stuff coming back. The other one is, this might actually not be the worst to, let's say that you're in here and there is someone in the snake. You might be able to catch them coming around because you can stand up and shoot down. These are smaller cakes. So shooting up over the top and putting it into those bunkers, you might be able to kind of stop them from doing anything. And the good thing too is that if you go into the snake and you're trying to shoot down the tape, if they jumped over and ran the highway, they might be able to do that if some people aren't looking over this way. Now, of course, this is all hypothetical, but this is going to stop that. So if that guy tried to hop over, this guy's just going to destroy him before he got there. The good thing is you can still do that from the tall cake in the back here. The thing with this is that you do have those other cross shots. So, I mean, both of them do. You're going to have to kind of commit to one side is my guess, that you really have to sit. And, I mean, this guy's going to be living on his gun down the tape to stop that snake from moving up. But you can also kind of wrap and shoot the can, and as well as the the tower there. So this could be a good spot to get to as well. So you have a couple options if you need to protect your guy in the snake, or you could even use this. I don't know if I'd use this as a delay. I'd probably use this more to go into the snake, and then maybe this guy could either fill up or just kind of stay on the tape. But both of these are pretty good. Even if you came out to here and then went up into the snake, that might be an option too. But I'd have to play it to see if that's something that's going to be good or not. Okay, let's talk about the Dorito side. So, like we had seen, there are some lanes off the break. So some of this is just going to be if you're able to get in or not. I think once you get to the Dorito 3, that's where you're going to be getting a lot of your kills, and the Dorito 4, which I think we'll get into. Yeah, we get into that next. But let's start with the Dorito 1. So the only downside of this is that it is a little Dorito. So you have to really like crunch in and kind of turn into a contortionist to make sure that you are staying out of the way of paint. Especially with these kinds of shots, because that guy is standing up, shooting down on you, and you're already on your knees. So you want to be mindful of that, but know that if someone gets in there, it wouldn't hurt just to throw a couple balls over there, freak him out, or hit him, because maybe he's kind of coming in deep and then coming up. You might be able to throw a couple over there and shoot that guy. But this guy on this is good because you can shoot at the Aztec here to at least put him in, so that way you can look. You want to be really careful of this brick, but we're going to talk about some ways that you might be able to stop him to dive in. Now, that is enough of a gap that they could shoot you if they pick the right time, so you want to be mindful of that. So always, honestly, with every field, but this one looks like it might be another one of those kind of like Vegas where just always play like the center is hot and you'll be good to go. Once you get to the Dorito 2, you have that same kind of shot. You're a little bit blocked out from this guy, but you do have this the tower here, so you want to be mindful of that guy, because if you stand up a little bit, he might be able to see you. But if you play low, you might actually be safe from him a little bit. He might still be able to clip you a little bit, but if you stay low and you don't have someone shooting down your tape, you might be able to just battle the inside guy and dive into here. Now, once you get into this Dorito 3, it looks like you can start doing some more damage. You can do a couple more cross shots. Again, these ones are going to be a little bit tough because they're so far, but it's going to be something that's an option at least. And then, of course, you can still shoot both of these guys, actually. You might be able to sneak one in on this guy because you're going to have to stand up, and that's going to kind of make a, if I can, yeah, it's going to kind of make like a V with the two Dorito points, so you're shooting through those. At those guys. So I think this Dorito should play, I hope, quick. I'm not sure what side I'm going to be playing. I might be playing multiple sides, so I'm going to be trying to play everything and just kind of see how it all goes. Okay, now we're getting into, well, we'll finish off with the Dorito and then we'll talk a little bit more about the center. So the Dorito 4, you can start to do more damage. I mean, of course, if you can get to their side of the field, that's always the better option, because then you either force them to have to come get you, or you're going to be able to get a couple kills and then trade with someone that tries to come get you. So that's going to be a benefit. This tower here might not be a bad option if you're trying to stop a little bit of movement here. The only downside is that you are dropping into that little V section, so you might not be able to get them if they go real low, but this might be an option for you. And then even if you can just dive out and do that, or go out into the center, but then you got to watch out for those inside shots. So I don't know if that's the best one, actually. But this isn't a bad option. It doesn't look like a bad option, at least, to maybe be able to stop a little bit of movement here. Now, if they're further up on the Dorito side, you really should have someone in the center here. And again, we'll get into that. But with this little W, you can shoot that Dorito 2 gap as well as the Dorito 1 gap. So that's going to be more beneficial than this, because you're able to really shut these guys down and just dump paint. And you're relatively protected from the snake side, so you don't have to worry about someone just roasting you in the back unless they get to your snake, in which case that is not your fault. That's your snake side's fault. This wing here, what's good with all the wings, again, is that you can stand up over the top because they are that like down like that, not standing up like a house. So you can throw a couple over the top, do a couple like that. I don't think this is going to be beneficial to stop anything on the snake side, just because, I mean, you have to guess at the right time. Or you have to know that this guy is about to start running, and that's when you're going to start throwing some paint, or this guy's going to try to move over, you can throw some paint that way. But over on this side, at least you can throw some more paint. I don't know if this would be a bunker that I would stay at. I think this would be one that I would maybe start at, shoot some paint, and then work my way further up into the center, which we'll get into in a second, but I wanted to talk about next on the snake side. So the snake side, this snake 1 and snake 2 are pretty useless. I think you have to be careful that this guy can shoot up over the top as well as the can, so you want to be mindful of that. But if you stay on your gut, you might be able to get out of the way of their paint. That's a possibility. If you can stay low enough, you might be able to, if you just kind of stay low and then crawl up. Because once you get to the snake 3, or their snake 2, you have more shots cross field, as well as, you know, some other ones in here. And then of course once you get to their snake, that's when you're going to get a lot more kills. So because it is that zipper style, if you can just keep going, you might as well just keep going and then at least stop here, and then try to work your way in or something. But if you stop here, you're kind of just cannon fodder. I mean, you're kind of getting shot at, and that's going to be that. And, you know, it's ultimately just going to be, yeah, that's it. Because you can't really do a whole lot in the snake 1, and in the snake 2 it gets a little bit better. But I mean, if they're already up here and you just got to the snake 2, that's not a good thing. So you really want to beat them to the punch. Okay, now the center. So you can see there is a lot of highlighter here. So with the center, this brick, you can shoot a lot of the gaps. So that's a really good thing if you're trying to shut down that Dorito side. The snake side of it, if you're shooting, you can shoot up over the top and drop it into that tower. Across, if they're trying to delay and go out, you can shoot that guy delaying. And then this isn't the best shot, but you can shoot into the snake 1. So maybe if you saw them start running, you can throw paint and then pull back and throw paint into here as well. Just in case you missed here, you can shoot them there if they overslide a little bit. But it's going to be a little bit more useful to shoot on this Dorito side. Now this wing, if you're able to move up, now it does shift. So you can see here that this first one, it slants this way. This one slants to the snake side. So since this one slants to the snake side, this is just a kind of the brick section. So you can kind of stand up a little bit more in it. So it's going to be a little bit more comfortable than having to kind of pull your gun in a weird way to not get shot. But what I like about this is that you can do a lot of those same shots, and you can kind of even float back and forth if you wanted to. If these guys, you know, you might be able to get sneaky up in here with this stuff. Of course, if you can get to their side of the field, again, that's always going to be ideal. Now that I see that, I really want to do that and just run up into here and shoot. But yeah, that's a whole other thing. We'll see this weekend how that works out. But shooting the snake side is useless from this bunker. You're not going to be able to do anything. The only guy that you could keep in is this guy. And if they're there, maybe it might be okay for you to stay here and just shoot that gap, and then that way you can keep that guy in. But I mean, he just has to put you in a little bit and he can go, because I mean, you have to stand up, and then you have to worry about other guys shooting you cross field going into there. There's other people that can stop this guy better than this guy. I think he's going to be a lot more useful looking to the Dorito side, stopping these movements. You know, if you can kind of trap them in here, if they try to move over, you can shoot them there. If they were already here and you got up, you can stop them getting into the Dorito 1. Shooting into the Dorito 1, you can also shoot the Dorito 2 gap, and then the Dorito 3 gap as well, getting into the Dorito 3, that is. This brick, I do like this one as well. It might actually, I wonder if people are going to be sending one here and one here. Ooh, that might actually be good now that I think of it, because I'm going to talk about some bounce shots that I think are going to be an issue for these bricks. But if they look inside, ooh, because this guy can do a lot of the same shots that this guy can here. It's just going to be easier because he's closer. But if he's raining paint, I mean, that could be good. And then this guy is able to protect him. They can protect each other and can still kind of do some stuff. It's not going to be as effective, but that might not be bad. But anyway, so on this snake side as well, if they do get into this can and you don't really have a presence over here, you can at least stop that guy. If they get into the snake 1, you can kind of stand up a little bit and shoot down a little bit onto the snake 1. They might still be able to get by, but even if you got here and you just kind of baited them to come up into the snake 2 and shoot, or if they tried to come across here, you can just shoot him, and that would be easy to do as well. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about possible bounce shots. So This is going to be, there has to be something here. And this is one that I saw that I was like, yeah. Then I started looking at it, and it looks like you can shoot it from like 5 different spots. So both of these Doritos look like you can shoot this pin, and it'll go into the brick here. And I think you're going to be able to shoot that same one from this cake into here. And I don't know if it's too, it might be too harsh of a bounce. It might work, because the other one I was looking at was from here into there, and I think that's just going to be too hard of a corner for it to make. So I don't know if that's going to be possible, but I think from these 3 bunkers here, you might be able to shoot off this pin and it'll bounce into this guy. So that's one I'm definitely going to try, because that was one thing I hated with the Vegas layout, is that guy could just kind of sit there and no one could do anything about it. And there wasn't a shot that you could shoot it and it would bounce in. So that just was annoying. So now that this pin is here, I like that, because even if you're in this little Dorito and this guy's waiting, you can at least shoot the wrap, shoot it into here and bounce it, and it might freak him out enough that either his paint drops or he has to pull back, and then you can dive into the Dorito too. So that's an option for sure. Let's talk about the Dorito one again as well. There might be one, and again, this is all just speculation right now, from this Dorito one. Yeah, the Dorito one on the wrap, you might be able to shoot it from the inside too, off the tower into the Dorito 2. This one, it might bounce. I don't know how it's going to bounce in, but this might be an option, which, again, it might just be something that might be worth it just to throw a couple balls there, and if it bounces in and hits him, great. If it doesn't, if it freaks him out enough that he pulls in, then that might open it up for someone else. The other one, on this side at least, is from this Aztec off the Dorito one into the other Aztec. I think that, so you are squatting a little bit because this is an Aztec, but I think if you shoot it in the lower part of the Dorito, it might bounce into there. Even if it bounces up a little bit, hopefully it'll bounce into that person instead of bouncing over the top of their head. I think you have to shoot a little bit lower though, so that'll definitely be one that I try as well. Off here, I think you might be able to bounce it off this pin into the Snake 2. So if they do get to the Snake 2, at least you can throw some paint this way and maybe catch this guy, or at least make him keep his head down, and it's a possibility. That's one that I don't think it's going to be a guaranteed, because you have this beam in the way as well, so if he lays down, you're not going to get the kill. But even if it keeps him down and then your guy goes and runs him down, then great. From this can or the God Bunker, you can shoot this pin, I'm pretty sure, and bounce it into here as well. So that's why I was saying it might be good to have this guy look in and this guy look this way. I don't think there's going to be a lot of bounces that they have to worry about coming in, because there's nothing there that's going to be bounced off of. So yeah, I think that would be a good couple to start with. I think there might be something off this beam into the can as well. The only thing I was hesitant with is that because it's going more in instead of like into the bunker, it's more on like the edge of it, that it doesn't take a lot for them to get out of the way of it. Whereas this guy, if he's sitting there waiting and you shoot it here, there's a lot more of a chance that it'll bounce in. So I think that might be an option as well. But I do like, at least on this side, that I have a couple options if I play the Dorito side, that I can shoot at this pin, and it might be enough that it skips in, and or at least pushes him in, so I can make the move, and then we can worry about him later on in the game. But I think that might be an option. But like I said, this is just my first opinions, or first impressions, that is, and I could be completely wrong, like I said before. But I think this, I hope it's a good layout. I mean, I just want to put Vegas behind me, because we didn't perform the way that I really hoped, none of us hoped that we would. So that being said, we're going to be practicing this weekend, and then I know that we have a weekend practice with NYX at their home field in Connecticut. So if you guys are in the area, it'll be the weekend before Texas. We'll be at Matt's Outback out there. I know that one for sure. But yeah, anyways, so that is the first impressions of the NXL Texas Open Layout. Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, so as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.